Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar this evening. So this Master of Green and Sustainable Technologies, what's this course all about? So in essence, the focus of the program is on green chemistry. And for those of you, I'm sure, I believe some of you out there in the audience have a chemistry background, so you may well have come across green chemistry in your undergraduate studies or whatever other studies you've done. And we're talking about the importance of chemistry in everyday life. And some of the images here on the screen are just there to remind us that chemistry is central to all the manufactured goods that everybody takes for granted. So everything from medicines, how we grow our food, building materials, paints, plastics, of course, which are pervasive, therapeutic agents, and we can go on and on. You think of all these things around us and we think they've come from some sort of manufacturing, which more often than not, chemistry has to be involved in making those goods. And green chemistry is about how do we do this in a way that is not going to harm our planet, that's sustainable, that is providing for future generations without depleting the resources of our planet. And so there's I won't read it through there, but you can read through on the screen there, a general context of what green chemistry is about. So this is what this Masters is going to focus on. And of course, in doing so, we're going to be addressing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And in fact, one can argue that through green chemistry, we can address probably all the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Some are more obvious and some perhaps not so obvious, but things like, reducing inequalities. Okay, we think about how some goods are manufactured in the world, and are they manufactured in an ethical way? Is the technology that is used, is it available for the best outcomes in a environmentally sustainable way? And of course, these opportunities in the future will provide employment and growth in perhaps less privileged societies, less privileged countries. So green chemistry has a very important role to play in the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Why would you want to choose this program? Well, many companies and even government organisations, research institutes, there's a list been given there just to give you an idea. There's a growing awareness and need of sustainable production and green. And we put green and sustainable together because some things can be green, so they don't cause any harm, but they're not very sustainable. On the other hand, some of the sustainability technologies are not necessarily harmless. They can cause harm even though they may be sustainable. And that's why we deliberately made sure the two have to go together, hand in hand, when we talk about production processes. They have to be green and sustainable. And we know that in many parts of the world, many companies are very serious about looking at how they operate, how they produce their goods, and they want to be green and sustainable going forward in the future. So the opportunities for particularly people with some chemistry background, and of course by doing this course you will get more chemistry depending on what background you've come from. You'll be able to enter industries that have this focus. There's a range of other activities that are associated with the course. I've already mentioned the UN Sustainable Development Goals. To be transformational is important, so future leaders who want to bring about the change, particularly in chemical industry or in government policy, related activities that revolve around manufacturing, you will get training and understanding of how to assist in bringing about the change. The course is going to be very strongly linked with industry. and it is really based on building on technical skills, but not just technical, but also some understanding of broader society issues revolving around things like decision-making processes, how to influence regulatory change and policies as well. So and in this context, the way we're doing this is we're linking part of this course. Some of the units will have commonality with the Master of Environment and Sustainability. So it's complementary, if you like, to the Master of Environment and Sustainability. It's designed for people who perhaps want a more technical approach based around chemistry, but still covering some of the other issues as well. There'll be electives, quite a good range of electives are listed there. And through this course, you can still continue to a PhD research pathway if that's what you wish to do in the future. You would, of course, be studying at Monash, we're in the top 100 in the world. And of course, chemistry is ranked in the top 50, and chemistry at Monash is #1 in Australia. We have a very strong industry links, as I said, and this course will be able to draw on our partners in this training centre, which actually has the theme of green chemistry in manufacturing. So a lot of the companies, in fact, all the companies that are associated with that training centre, which is actually for PhD training, are committed to green chemistry. So we are going to be approaching those companies for opportunities for some of people doing the masters to do perhaps internships and or operate with the companies in some sort of consultancy project, which is one of the compulsory units in the course. And of course, you probably appreciate Monash is a group of 8 university. We have a very good reputation in particularly in green and sustainable chemistry internationally. So you will have contact, in fact, with some people, not just from the Monash staff, but also we will have guest lectures from international people involved in this course. Who's the course for? What sort of background do you need? Well, again, there's quite an extensive list here. So you don't have to have a major or a degree in chemistry to enter the program. If we're actually saying that if you have at least the equivalent of first level chemistry at university, then this course could be for you, and you would get more chemistry through doing the masters to build that background that you've already got. And I'll go on and talk about, some of the exemptions where you'll get credit based on the type of background. So you can see there that the opportunity to enter this course is from a broad range of backgrounds. So as far as entry requirements go, the structure of the course is such that there are, in fact, three levels of entry. So if you only have some first year studies in chemistry, so looking at the left-hand side of this table, then you would do, the whole of the course would take 2 years or part-time in 4 years. And that's for people with only a limited background in chemistry. If you've already done a chemistry major in your first degree, and that chemistry major can be fairly broad, and I've listed some examples there. It could be material science, could be biochemistry, food chemistry. If you've got a substantial amount of chemistry behind you, in other words, you would be able to complete the course in 1.5 years. And if you have done a honours degree in chemistry with a project which we would deem, after assessing it, to be a project relevant to green chemistry, then the course can be completed in 1 year full-time study. Now, this is really set up for people doing the honours degree in chemistry at Monash who could choose to do a green chemistry project. They would be able to complete the masters with 1 further year of study. But this does not exclude people coming from other universities, from other backgrounds, where they've done a research project and it would be deemed to be a project that satisfies green chemistry principles. I've put in some approximate GPA equivalents for entry to the course. You'll see it's 60% average, credit average across the board on overall performance. But the focus would be, we'd look closely at the background in chemistry that people have. This next, one thing that's important, and apologies, the slide says an alternate exit is a graduate certificate of green and sustainable technologies. But in fact, as of just a few weeks ago, we now will enable people to enrol in a graduate certificate of green and sustainable technologies. And that is effectively the equivalent of one semester of study, and all these subjects or units you take are the units of the master's course. So it's an opportunity for people to have a taste of the program, and if you like it, you would be able to continue on and complete the full master's. Now, the graduate certificate entry is really for people who've already got a background in chemistry, i.e. The way it's been structured, you would already have done a substantial amount of chemistry, so you could jump straight into the master's level units in the course. On this slide, you can also see the course is divided up into 4 parts, and the parts don't have to be taken in the order. You tend to think A, B, C, D. Well, you don't have to do them in that order. So in fact, part A is those units that are listed there are available this year, and part B are units of background chemistry or make-up chemistry for people with little background. One of the units which we will be running in second semester, the consultancy project, will in fact be a project with industry where you work in a group with one of the companies that will support us and do a consultancy. And that will teach you how to do a full-blown consultancy as you would if you were in a company doing consultancy work in industry. Part C of the course is around specialist studies in green chemistry, so they're more coursework subjects, and you do have some elective options there. There's quite a range of electives we have available. We don't have time to talk about them now, but those electives can be taken from engineering, some from arts faculty, from business, and a number of the electives, of course, will be compatible and can be taken from the Master of Environment and Sustainability program. And the part D of this course is gives you a couple of options. So you've got a research pathway where you can do a whole semester of research, and this would be for somebody who's perhaps interested in going on to PhD studies in the future. Or alternatively, you can take a coursework pathway which includes internship options and additional units that are taken as elective units. And I've already mentioned a few times this interaction with the Master of Environment and Sustainability, which some people are well aware of and have probably looked at that course. And one of the things we would like people to appreciate is that these two courses are complementary. And sometimes people ask, well, what's the difference between the two? Well, the green and sustainable technology has the focus on chemistry, as I said right from the beginning. So you do more subjects related to chemistry, plus some other units that can be picked up from the Master of Environment and Sustainability, which focuses more broadly on, and I've listed some of the things there, on people, strategic decision-making, consultancy and so forth, some of which are done through MGST as well. So you've got quite a nice choice in this space. I've already mentioned potential placement partners, and a lot of those are going to come from our ARC Centre in Green Chemistry, but we have links with the EPA, Sustainable Development Institute of Monash, this Monash Food Innovation. There's a lot of organisations. This is really only a very, very, very small sample of what's available for potential partners for placements and the consultancy projects. So I'll stop there and